Hello chess friends, this is International Master Valeri Lilov and welcome to today's lecture for chesslecture.com. Today we're going to be talking about a game, not just any game, but Carlsen's game, the reigning world chess champion who is able to create a masterpiece in one of my favorite openings to Ruy Lopez. The game was played between Magnus Carlsen and Valeri Lilov in Nanjing year 2010, which was one of the best years of Carlsen. I mean, he's been #1 since. And in that game, he won very convincingly. The game started off with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and bishop b5. What is so special about this opening? Now, something you would like to know is that the Ruy Lopez is one of the brilliant openings that so many people choose and have been choosing so often over and over again, mostly for its ability to give white this constant pressure versus black's position. And that's something that is worth fighting for in any opening. The whole idea that's coming out from the bishop b5 move is not just an extra tension against the knight on c6 and the pawn on e5, but basically the easy development that white is ready to put in order to make this whole strategy work. And it takes time, yes it does, but it's good. It's a good time, and it could help out a lot. Let's take a look at the different ways on how black actually played this. After bishop b5, black did a6, going for the so-called Morphist defense to Ruy Lopez, one of the most popular nowadays. Now white can exchange the knight, but he didn't do it because that just kind of gives away the bishop pair, and white's advantage is no longer that meaningful. So retreating the bishop seems so much better. Now white played d3. Some chess players consider this to be a very passive way to go with that opening. And while there is certain truth to it, to that claim, usually d3 gives white the chance to stabilize the center while he's able to quite confidently develop the rest of his pieces and make it look nice. We're not just going to talk about bringing out the pieces, but also focusing on castles, rook e1, c3, plus a possibility to set something aside like d4. The bishop may have a very good flight square on the c2, but also white can actually choose to go without d4 and simply move alongside knight d2 to f1, so eventually d4 can happen at a certain good point, while the middle stands closed until white can get his pieces better. It's a very good approach, it really is, and yes, it's going to take some time to build it, but there is no need for white to rush. So I think white has what he needs to have in this position. So after the move d3, black plays b5, challenging here. Of course, white's bishop goes away, and in this moment black played bishop e7, getting ready for a castling. Surely white does the castling first, and then black plays d6. Whenever black plays the d6, actually, he pretty much intends to follow it up by knight a5 plus knight x to b3. This is the goal that black is having. The important thing about c7, d6, and e5 is that this pawn chain guarantees black, in a way, faster or an easier, at the very least, easier development of his pieces, so that would actually help out quite a bit. But yes, overall, this is what black is actually going for. He just wants to get a fast development. He'd like to go for it in a nice way. Now, what is white supposed to do? This is a really good question. Let's talk about that. After the move of pawn to the d6 that happened here, apparently, now white has to decide where to go, and then he actually picked up to do the one thing that makes more sense, which is actually a4. Considering that white usually wants to build up his pieces and his development on the king side, to some this move will sound a little strange. Okay, why would we like to do a move of a4, and how is this really helping out? But then you get to realize the a4 is just played so that white can get a better form of pawn structure and possibilities on the queen side. That could help out quite a lot afterwards. But for now, we keep the tension and we keep the challenge against black at this point. It's a very, very good idea, and it seems to be able to work. So actually, after that move happened, white is doing better already. What did black do? Well, black has to worry now. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, it's not a very easy position for him, and it doesn't get any easier after that last move. Sooner white plays the move of pawn into the a4, sooner we realize the problems, the challenges, the fact that white is starting and launching all this queenside activity pretty quickly. So what does black get to do? What did he do in this position? Okay, so as soon as white played alongside a4, certainly black has certain things to be concerned of. So what he picked up to do was rook b8, 8 takes b, and 8 takes to b. Some would consider this weakening, playing on the area of the board where we really don't want to play, moving up and even exchanging. They would say this just really creates some vulnerabilities. But on another hand, I wouldn't say it is like that. I think that white got an open line, which is very nice, and he got that rook lined up. He is keeping up a little bit of tension against black, so that just can't occur to be a mistake. And to my mind, it's an excellent position. Very good to start with, and resources are happening. So let's go. After that last candidate, white felt like he really knows what he's doing. So what happened on the next? After 8 takes to b, white played knight d2. The knight now begins its traditional journey towards the position of g3 or even e3 on occasion. And shortly after that, there will be nothing to really fear or worry about this. We know where we're going, and we know how this is going to make it look good. So, step by step, white is going in the right direction. Black castle. And this was the time where white picked up rook e1. The first step in the aforementioned plan, build up on the king side. A lot of people know this, but they don't actually realize the meaning behind many of those moves. The knight being on the e3 or g3 will have a tremendous influence over the f5 or d5 squares, and that adds a lot to the position. He also played the c3, and since the pawn center is very good, white is also planning to move ahead with bishop c2 and do the d4. Black does rook a8, rook takes a8, queen takes a8, and so after that, actually white does d4.